This was sent to me by a subscriber. The Flathead County Sheriff's Office is seeking help from the public with getting any possible information that may help with the active investigation into fires that were started in the county. We have included maps of the approximate locations of the 5 fires which are labeled A, B, C, D, and E. All fires were extinguished. Fire A on 7/31, that's July 31st, 2022 at approximately 3:50 p.m. Now you'll notice all of these first 4 are all at 3:50 p.m. Only the 5th one is on a different date, August 1st at 2:35 p.m. All of these other 4 are all on July 31st at 3:50 p.m. So all 4 of them started simultaneously. And you'll notice by their description, they say they included a map. I would have to look on a map to find these approximate locations, but just from the description, they say a couple of them are at least a mile or 2 apart, which means they all started simultaneously. One person could not have done all of these. Thus, it must have been a group of people or something else. And everyone watching this channel knows what the something else is. So I'll read the rest of this request by the Flathead County Sheriff. This is in Montana, Flathead County, Montana. And you can see that it's signed up top here, Brian Heino, H-E-I-N-O, Sheriff/Coroner. So, the first one, July 31st, 3:50 p.m. on Auction Road, approximately 3/4 mile east of Highway 93, South Kalispell. Fire B, again, July 31st, 3:50 p.m., intersection of Wiley Dyke Road and North Summers Road, South Kalispell. So both of those were in South Kalispell. This other one, these other 2 are in Big Fork. Those are different cities. So number 3, or Fire C, July 31st, 3:50 p.m., Big Fork Stage Road, approximately 3/4 mile south of Highway 83, Swan Highway in Big Fork. And Fire D, Big Fork Stage Road, approximately 1 mile south of Fire C. So Fire D was approximately 1 mile south of Fire C, and it was exactly at 3:50 p.m. How do they know all of these started at 3:50 p.m.? I would suggest they already have video. And this might not be as much of a request for the public to look on your Ring doorbell video to see if you can catch the culprit, but they are actually announcing something here. Especially when they give you the map, they include a map to show you the distance between these fires, the specific timestamp of 3:50 p.m. on 4 of them. That is announcing to the public these could not possibly be started by one person, which means either there's an organized band of arsonists, or this is the alarm bell. And this is their way of announcing it to the public. Oh, we told you what was happening when we requested help from the public. Yeah, we told you all the details we had. We even gave you the maps and told you exactly when it started, exactly how far apart these places were. So the last one is Fire E, set August 1st at approximately 2:35 p.m. at Elk Springs Lane, approximately 3/4 mile east of Highway 83, Swan Highway in Ferndale. If you saw any suspicious activity that may be related to the fires, or if you have surveillance camera in these areas that were recording around the times that these fires were set, please call the Flathead County Sheriff's Office, Detectives Division at 406-758-5600. So the links that I will include in the description of this video are as follows. Skywatch Media explanation of plasma fire, and their video is titled Earth's Magnetic Field Suddenly Vibrates, Causing an Unexpected Electrical Surge. That's the only one of these videos that is not one of my videos that I've produced. That was produced by Skywatch Media, and that is their title that they placed on it. Earth's magnetic field suddenly vibrates, causing an unexpected electrical surge. That is pretty much the explanation of plasma fire right there in the title. Arming firefighters with the white hot sword of truth, a video that I've made while I speak with firefighters on the scene of these fires. Live plaz, 2 more firefighters armed with the white hot sword of truth, where I walk up and I start speaking to firefighters, educating them. I'm driving the school bus here, and I speak with the authority on the subject matter as the expert. And most people would say, well, who do you think you are? These are firefighters. They do this for a living. What makes you think you know more about this stuff than they do? And I speak to them knowing that I know more about this than they do, without hesitation or feeling like maybe I shouldn't. I know more about this than they do. They're paid to point the hose where they're paid to point the hose in the direction of. I traveled across the country and filmed this in 8 or 9 or 10 different states and have documented it in multiple countries. So these are the links in the description. The first 2 are me speaking with firefighters on the scene of fires. And then we have live unextinguishable reigniting plasma fire on US 6 near Helper, Utah. Live plasma fire on YouTube. That one's just titled Live Plasma Fire. This one's from Montana. Watch live plasma number 3, 50 miles south of Missoula, Montana, off I-90/Seraphim, burning ones. And seraph equals to burn. I included that all in the title. Here, live plasma fire number 4, sonic fire extinguisher link in description. This is one of the things that I started speaking to those firefighters about, is that I know you guys aren't equipped to fight this new kind of fire, but these college students in a video titled Pump Up the Bass to Douse the Blaze. On YouTube, it's a YouTube video titled Pump Up the Bass to Douse the Blaze, shows these college students who have modulated the frequency of a speaker to a certain frequency where it puts out a fire. They light a fire in a pan, a grease fire in a pan like you might see in a kitchen, and then they point the speaker at the fire and put it out.
We're both graduating from the Electrical and Computer Engineering Department at George Mason University this coming May. We're here, we're just going to test out our device that we use that uses sound frequencies to extinguish flames.
I see this device being applied to a lot of things. First off, I think in the kitchen, it could be on top of a stovetop. But eventually, I'd like to see this applied to maybe swarm robotics where it'd be attached to a drone. And that would be applied to forest fires or even building fires where you wouldn't want to sacrifice human life.
Professor Brian Mark really stepped in to help us.
Just gave us a lot of support.
I think as a whole.
And he said that these could be attached to swarm robotics, where once the fire is detected from satellite or any other means of detecting the fire, you deploy the swarm of drones with these speakers attached to them to emit this frequency to put out the fire. So in those videos where I'm educating firefighters on the scene of these fires to the best of my ability in a compressed short amount of time, trying to squeeze as much information as I possibly can, I tell them that there is this new technology out there that you guys would probably be served well if you were able to get your hands on some of it, because I know that this new type of fire is something you're not really trained to fight. It's like those candles, those reigniting candles, birthday candles, trick candles that you blow them out and they reignite. That's one of the things that I say to these firefighters in that video, and they nod and say, yeah, I know, yeah. So yeah, I know more about this than those firefighters, and when I approach them, I speak as such. I do not hesitate to take that position as the authority on the subject matter that I have become over the past 4 years. So continuing with the videos that will be linked in the description of this video, starting with Skywatch Media's explanation of plasma fire, arming firefighters with the white hot sword of truth, live plaz, 2 more firefighters armed with the white hot sword of truth, unextinguishable reigniting plasma fire on US 6, live plasma fire number 3, 50 miles south of Missoula, live plasma fire number 4, sonic fire extinguisher link in description, New samvartaka fire dynamics, vaporized root systems, shattered rocks, angle of burn trajectory, fiery sermon from the valley of the shadow, apocalyptic stockpile inventory like pearls to swine. The links below are tutorial and explanatory videos that cover the directional flow of energy, nanoparticles, nanoparticulates within the trees that are made visible and glitter in the sunlight, that are made visible and they glisten in the sunlight. It is a form of glitter. These nanoparticles of metal are glitter that glisten and reflect in the sunlight. Jewish space lasers that start forest fires and more. So let's not breeze over that. That was Marjorie Taylor Greene being made fun of on Jimmy Kimmel's late night comedy show, where he says that she believes that Jewish space lasers are starting forest fires. I didn't say it, Jimmy Kimmel did, and Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is who he was making fun of when he said that. Essentially, they put a yarmulke on a directed energy weapon, so if anyone that talks about it is now anti-Semitic. That's how that works. This one is titled Illustrating Directional Flow of Undirected Energy, because so many people are hooked on DO and they can't see anything besides DO, directed energy weapon. They cannot see that the magnetic field of our Earth is weakening, and so weak right now that those fluctuations in the magnetic field create a surge of electrical ground current. Undirected energy. That is why this one's titled Illustrating the Directional Flow of Undirected Energy. Shocking and bizarre proof. Heat vector flowed in reverse from metal to wood, not wood to metal. Part 2 of 2. Apparently there's part 1 of 2. There we go. There's part 1 of 2. Same title. Jewish space lasers on Jimmy Kimmel. Plasma fire, day of reckoning near. Reaction/solution imminent. So that's where I go over the Jimmy Kimmel late night show where he makes fun of Marjorie Taylor Greene, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, for even addressing the issue of directed energy weapons. And this was before the Department of Defense had come out and acknowledged that, yes, they have been developed in places like Russia and China. Yeah. So those have been acknowledged to exist now, but at the time when I made that video, they were still a topic that would get you removed and censored online if you spoke of it, because for whatever reason. The plasma fire, day of reckoning near, reaction solution imminent, is a subject that I talk about. I haven't watched that video in a very long time, but judging by the title, I would say that what I discuss is a question that I've brought up quite a few times. Why do they not use plasma fire as a problem reaction solution, Hegelian dialectic, also known as dialectical materialism, or as Obama's right-hand man, I forget his name right now, it'll come to me, he said, never let a good crisis go to waste. Eric Holder. And he's not the only one. Plenty of people understand this ability to use a crisis which will allow you to do things that the public would have vehemently opposed prior to the crisis. But when you introduce a problem, extracting and eliciting the reaction from the public, then you can introduce a solution that they would have vehemently opposed prior to that problem, which now seems to require such a solution. And the solution was prepared before you introduced the problem. We're all familiar with the Hegelian dialectic. The question is, why don't they use plasma fire to get us to all beg for a solution? Probably because they don't have a solution, and they would rather you think that this is all directed energy weapons than a natural phenomenon that they have no power or control over, because if you did know that, you would be ungovernable. So they would rather you think that it's directed energy weapons, and if we could just find the guy with his finger on the trigger and the button of those systems, then we could make it stop. That way you'll still turn to them for their solutions. And that's why they don't frame this in such a way that they present it to the public in order to manipulate the public and say, okay, because the reaction is always the same from the public when they introduce the problem to elicit the reaction is always the same. Save us, save us. Anyone who will save us, we will give you all of our money and freedoms. Consolidation of power and authority to the hands of fewer and fewer, a smaller group of people. That is always the solution. So, moving along. Glittering metallic nanoparticles stream from inside burnt tree. This is where I show you those nanoparticles. These nanoparticles that can be seen with the naked eye with the backdrop of the black burnt piece of wood. And when I scrub them, you can see them glitter running down the wood. Mr. MB3 has shown you his concept of what these nanoparticles are and how they are working for the purpose of solar radiation mitigation. Because our magnetic field is so weak, in order to supplement and block out those UVC readings that he's been picking up at ground level for a few years, he showed you this 6 years ago. This is on a video I recently created, but I will include this link in the description as well by Mr. MB3, titled, "The Truth About These Things Which You Cannot Mention," or you will get a strike, oftentimes. 6 years ago, he described his understanding of these particles, and I believe he is correct. And I believe that that is the glitter that we can see in the videos that I've produced. One of those videos that I produce with these particles is called Glittering Metallic Nanoparticles Stream from Inside of Burnt Tree. Another one where I show the same thing, self-replicating nanobots made visible to the naked eye. No, I'm not so sure if they're actually self-replicating nanobots anymore, but I still show the glitter running down from the wood. It's not a one-time thing. You can go find a burnt piece of wood and perform the same process yourself to see this nanoparticle glitter. Apocalyptic stockpile inventory, like pearls to swine. These are just pictures of my pieces that I have lacquered. And there's a few of these videos where I show you my apocalyptic stockpile. This one is titled, "Take All the Trees, Put Them in a Tree Museum, and Charge the People $1.50 to See Them," a lyric from Joni Mitchell's song. I think that was Big Yellow Taxi. Anyway, in these videos, I can also show the directional flow of the electricity going through the wood, coming out in certain points, and leaving burn patterns that enable people to understand the directional flow of the energy and how this type of plasma fire works by analyzing these pieces that have been cleaned and lacquered. Another one of them is titled "War Chest for the Resonance Economy of the Renaissance Plasma-Fired Pieces of the Promethean Forest." And another one is titled, "Take All the Trees, Put Them in a Tree Museum." And the other one is "Apocalyptic Stockpile, Like Pearls to Swine." Also, videos that are detailing and showing the pieces that I've collected and cleaned up and lacquered is 10-foot-tall instant priceless art, Just Add Water, Plaztastic Museum Centerpiece, Pole Shift Plasma Fire in a Nutshell plus Work in Progress, We Need to Get a Cough, Take All the Trees, Put Them in a Tree Museum, and I think that's about all the links we're going to include in here. So a lot of the time when you call a place like this, on their voicemail greeting, they will often include an email address that you can send information to. And if you'd like to call the Flathead County Sheriff's Office, investigators, the Detectives Division, and let them know that you have some answers to the questions that they have about these fires, even though you don't have video of those particular fires, the burn signature patterns that I have identified and illustrate and demonstrate in my videos can be seen in those fires in Flathead County. Guaranteed. I've been doing this long enough. I don't even need to go there and look at the fires. I can tell you what they are. So, they may have an email address just in their voicemail greeting. In fact, they probably do. It wouldn't be hard to find an email address to send this to or to text them a link of this video that you're currently watching. This video that you're currently watching, which has all of the links in the description and in the comments section for educational purposes, like a crash course for anyone who's not familiar with plasma fire.